All systems are go for this important market sector. Hello, fellow traders everywhere. Adam Hewison here, co-founder of MarketClub, with your midday market update for Tuesday, the 14th of February. It's Valentine's Day, so if you're married, be sure to take some care of your loved ones. Here's the trading tip. Don't fight the market, move with the market. Energy flashes a major warning signal. We'll be looking into that sector today. Also, here are two ways to trade the energy markets. We'll also be looking at three big movers in the markets today. But let's go right to the charts now and analyze all these charts with our trade triangle technology. So let's go to our portfolio manager. And here we are. We're going to look at the Dow first of all. It's a plus 75, so it's an emerging trend. It's come off a little bit from its best levels, you can see, but for the past several days, certainly the past 7 or 8 days, we've sort of gone sideways. We're getting used to this new level. And you can see the PSAR is right at 12,743. So it's about 100 points lower than we are right now. But the market appears to be still regrouping to go higher. The major trend is still positive. We've got our monthly and weekly looking good on that one. So let's go to our next market, and that's the S&P 500. This has really held well. We've had, obviously, this was Friday. It was the first big down day. Monday, we snapped right back, and then here we are sort of regrouping today. But we've got a plus 90, which means it's a strong trend. The PSAR, which is this little dot right here that we track, is trading at 1337. There's good support apparently at 1340 with our work. And I think this market can and will go higher. But we are a little concerned because we have been overbought, and that's something to pay attention to. But nonetheless, the trend is higher. We're looking for this market to make its high sometime in May. So let's go to our next market. And the next market is the Nasdaq, of course. Much the same picture there. Closed at, I think, a 12-year high yesterday. So the trend is clearly up, plus 90. A little bit of a pullback today. So it's not acting as well as the other markets, but certainly I'm a little bit concerned that we're seeing a lot of these sort of doji lines coming in here, because sometimes that's a sign of people are willing to sell this market. Professional traders are willing to sell this market. So also we're in an overbought condition, but nonetheless you can't ignore 11-year highs. So let's go to our next market. Next market we're going to look at is one of the big movers today, and this is Fidelity National Info. And here we are. Look at this. Boom. It's up 7.41%. And guess what? Our weekly trade triangle and monthly trade triangle caught this from much lower levels. 27.47, that was the buy point. And look at this market. It's never stopped going up since. That's the power of the trade triangle, and that's what I want to show you today. So let's go to our next market. Lots of markets to cover today. We're looking at Masco, and this is the symbol MAS. This market's down. Now look at this. We are long on our monthly, but we had a signal at 11.87 today, which you could have done quite easily because the market opened. The high on the opening was 11.97, so you could have sold this with the stop. And here we are trading at 11.46. This market does not look good. You should be out of the market because remember, we take the monthly as the major trend and the weekly for timing. So timing-wise, out, exit the market. That's what the trade triangles do and help make profits for you. Next market we're looking at is Hospira. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's HSP. Another big move. However, this is a monthly trade triangle. It kicked in today at 35.85. It's 36.35, so you get a little bit, about half a cent profit in there. But nonetheless, it's a big signal. All of our trade triangles are green, indicating a strong upward trend. It's always good to get in when the signals occur. Now, you may stay in this market for several months because these are long-term signals, or you could be moved out within a month or so. So let's see how this works out, but nonetheless, the major signal, we've come off the best levels for the day, but nonetheless, it's still in a positive zone, and you should be looking to buy this based on our trade triangle technology. Let's take a look at silver. Silver's been going sideways for the past 16 days. Hard to believe. So the argument would be for the bulls, well, it hasn't gone down, and the argument for the bears would be it hasn't gone up. But nonetheless, it is frustrating because there's no action, no trend for 16 days. You can see these days up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But certainly the line in the sand is very clearly drawn. 33 on the downside is where the support is, and 34.50 on the upside is where resistance is. So they're the two levels to watch very carefully. Let's go to our next market. Next market is going to be gold. Much the same picture in gold, a little softer, minus 55 is a trading range. You've got the monthly down, the weekly up, a conflicting schedule, daily down. It's a trading range. You can see the market's chopping around here. Nonetheless, support 1710 and resistance coming in today around 1740. So again, really not a lot going on in both the metal markets, which is kind of surprising, but given what's going on in the world. But eventually they'll have some action, and we will be following that and making money with our trade triangle. So let's go to copper. Copper found support at the 3.80 level, which we thought it would happen, and certainly kind of like a doji line here. If it closes here, we are going to looking good. The market's coming back down to an oversold condition, which is really where we want to be looking to buy this market. We're still positive on it, but you can see we've had a nice move up here, and then we've sort of gone sideways for this last 16, 17 days. So again, this is an area, the 3.8 level is an area which should find good support. So let's go to our next market, trying to cover a lot of markets today. Now, this is the market I want to tell you about, crude oil. If you remember, we've been talking about this. Let's scope this out just a little bit further. If you remember, we've been talking about this for some time, and that is this large, what we consider to be an energy field, like right here. And you have had the monthly kicked in right here. And you can see that at 100.27. And the market's currently trading at 101.24. And we kicked in today with the weekly, kicked in at 101.70. So a little bit higher, but nonetheless, all of our trade triangles are plus, meaning this market should be going higher. I think if we could see a close over the 102 level, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, who knows. If it closes over 102, it's very bullish. And I think if we close over 104, which is the next level we talked about, of course, then we're off to the races to the upside. But nonetheless, this looks to me like we've got all our trade triangles in a row. The last trade triangle we had was all the way back here on the 3rd of January. So they don't come that often. When they do, you have to pay attention to them. Of course, it happened today at 101.70. And happy Valentine's Day. So this is the big market we want to look at. But there's some ways you can trade this market, and I want to show you how to do that. If you don't want to trade the futures, there's some other nice plays I think you want to look at. So let's just clear the screen and go to the charts that we want to look at in terms of how else you can trade this market. So going to our first stock is Cerro TS. You can see it's got a nice move up. That's a new high for the move. And you can see, obviously, the weekly kicked in at 24.20. All of our trade triangles are green. Very nice looking stock. Looks like it wants to challenge the highs here that we're trading at 29.61. I think we'll challenge those and exceed those. And if we go a little further out, let's say a 2-year, I think that's definitely the first market we're going to hit on the upside. But nonetheless, the market looks very, very positive to us, and especially with a strong trend that we're seeing today in this market. Certainly a close where we are now at 28.33 or 28.50, I would consider to be very, very bullish. And it would say that this level here, the PSAR at 26.82, would be a reasonable stop out point if this didn't work out. So let's see how that works out. But the next market is going to be another market that we're looking at, and this is a pure play, the United States Oil Fund. You can see the weekly kicked in today at 38.96. It's 38.76. You can actually buy it lower than where we got in. But generally speaking, this market has made a turn. We're plus 90, very strong trend. So we're seeing this market go higher. But the trade triangles have done extremely well with crude oil and with the USO. So don't ignore these signals. And I think that's the most important lesson I can tell you is don't ignore the system, because we've come from an oversold condition, we're into an overbought condition, but you're also seeing the MACD just turned up as well, which is a positive sign. Our trade triangles are turned up. That's a positive sign. And really, I like the way this market's got this base, much like the crude oil market, which it is supposed to track. So again, I think this is a cyclic low period, and I think we can see this market go up much like we did here, and I think we'll see new highs on this market. So let's go to the next market. That's the Eurodollar. The Eurodollar was actually weaker today. Not such a big surprise. We talked about this yesterday. We're in a minus 55 as a trading range. Let's take a look at the index, which is what we track more of because it's a basket of currencies. You can see the market has made the turn. This is a plus 75. Now, this is a basket of currencies for the dollar, and you can see we talked about this bullish divergence. We talked about this a couple of days ago. In the bullish divergence, very simply how it works is this way. You have prices going down like this. You see the slant of the line, and then you have the momentum going that way. So it shows you the momentum is dying on the downside, and that's usually what you get. In this case, it could well be a short covering rally. It's still too early to tell, but nonetheless, our longer term trade triangle, the monthly, is still positive from 76.61, obviously from lower levels. You can see right the way. Let's just put that in. May have to go back a little bit to show you where it is, but that's not a problem. Yep, looks like right here, 76.61. This is back in July of last year. So these major trade triangles don't come in that often. When they do, you really want to pay attention to them, just like we saw today with one of those stocks we mentioned earlier. So let's go to our next market. In the next market we're looking at is the Reuters Jefferies CRB index. This is the commodity index. Let's just go to 3 months. And you can see this is pretty much done much to do about nothing. Plus 55, mixture of the monthly being down and the weekly being up, which is a conflict, and of course the daily is also conflicting with the weekly. So nonetheless, it's sort of like a stand aside, watch this market. Over 320, we've got a strong trend on our hands. Below 310, we've got a strong trend on our hands. But in between, it is just day after day. So let's see how that plays out. I think that may be the end of our, that is the end. But hey, listen, if you were interested in one-on-one Market Club coaching, is it right for you? We show you the trade triangles. Yes, if you can follow the trade triangles, you can probably be okay with that. But some people are a little bit different, and you need some one-on-one coaching. This is what we're talking about right now. So if you want to give us a call, find out if it's right for you. 877-219-1482. Again, the number is 877-219-1482. It's a free consultation, and it's also a free telephone call. So one-on-one Market Club coaching. Check it out today. Hey, this is Adam Hewison for Market Club. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a big show tomorrow, if all being well, and we'll be talking about various markets, and the energy certainly will be a big topic tomorrow. But remember, don't fight the market. Move with the market. I'm Adam Hewison for Market Club. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.